Hey everyone, welcome to Aussie Wristwatch, and today I am just going to go on a little fun journey and go through a list of some of the most expensive Rolexes ever. Alright, before we get started, you guys know the drill. Please smash the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you very much. Now, I just wanted to have a little bit of fun, to be honest with you, because, I don't know, life can get a bit too serious. And so let's have a look at some watches that, I don't know, just cost a lot, like a real lot. And I thought, what better than good old Rolex, because love them, hate them. I do love them. I still really want one in the collection, guys. Well, I actually want more than one. A Submariner, no date. Just going to throw it out to the universe. A Pepsi or a Batman or a Batgirl or any of those three, really. And a Daytona. Yep. I know, and everyone's going to be like, you like the most popular watches out there. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. And I'm happy to own that. And if I get the call for any of those, I'll be there. Anyway, let's pick a few crazy Rolexes. Probably ones that I would never own, not just because of their sticker price, but some of them are a little outrageous. For example, the Rolex Pearlmaster collection. Oh yeah. Most expensive Rolex apparently that you can buy around about today retails for $87,000. Yep. And in my opinion, really ugly. So, look, it depends. The retail actually depends on the fluctuating price of diamonds in the market at any given time. But it's 34 millimeters and 39 millimeter cases exclusively available in yellow gold, white gold, and rose gold, called their Ever Rose, of course. And it's highly customized. It's a version of the Rolex Datejust. And it's a finely carved diamonds and precious gem covered watch, including the bezel and the bracelet. Again, I think it's hideous. 100 meter water resistant with a 48-hour power reserve. I don't know who is swimming in that watch or showering in that watch. It is literally wearing diamonds all over your wrist. I will put up a photo of it. Yeah, not my favorite, guys. Okay. Another one that's uber expensive is not Steve McQueen's Cosmograph. We will get to that. But Steve McQueen's 1967 Rolex Submariner. It sold in 2009. Forget this, $234,000. Yep. Now, it may have contributed, if not started, the craving for the vintage Rolex watches. It's a classic Submariner from 1967. It's one of my favorite versions of that watch, for sure. Is it $234,000 worth? Not for me, no, but for someone it was. So what makes it special, of course, is Steve McQueen owned it, and being, you know, the king of cool back then, natural that someone would have to have that in their collection. So that sold, as I said, in 2009. So that was well over a decade ago, right? And it was also meant to be sold in 2018, but there's been a dispute over Steve McQueen's estate. So it was pulled from auction, and we, as it stands, don't have another price for it at this point in time. I feel like we could run a lotto on what we think that might sell for. Like, so in 2009 at $200,000, like it's got to have at least, but probably well over doubled, right? Yeah, wow. Another outrageous watch, the Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster. Sold at auction in March 2011 for $277,850. This is a date collection, not a Datejust. I quite like the date, I've got to say. I also like the Datejust. I've had this whole conversation about, I don't want to buy them as my first watch though. So this is a date. It's a limited edition, and it's got meteorite diamond and counts 42 diamonds on a custom bezel. 39mm dial, first released in 2011. for $277,850. Unbelievable, right? I mean, far out. Next watch. You guys are going to know this one. I know this one. This is a classic. I mean, we all want this watch, right? The James Bond 1972 Rolex Submariner. Sold in 2015 for $365,000. Yep. This is the one that was actually worn by Sir Roger Moore while playing James Bond in Live and Let Die in 1973. And as I said, it was sold at auction in 2015. The watch was modified for the movie. The bezel was changed to look like a circular saw. And it was also used to cut rope in the film. You guys are going to remember my James Bond watches videos. Check them out. I cover this. Classic watch. The watch's magnetic field is also used to unzip Miss Caruso's dress, i.e. Madeline Smith, in the film. I know, it's so cheesy and so good. The back of the watch, however, is signed by, Roger Moore. So that's pretty cool. And you can actually see the teeth on the bezel where the circular saw has been modified. So that's pretty cool. I can see why someone would spend that kind of coin on that watch, to be honest with you. If I had that kind of money, that would be something I would look to add to the collection, 100%. All right. Another watch, which to me is hideous, but to each their own, the Rolex GMT Master 2 Ice. In 2021, $485,000, $350. So this is actually a watch that superstar Cristiano Ronaldo wore during the 14th Dubai International Sports Conference. It is the most expensive new Rolex you can buy. Yep, at about $500,000. It's entirely covered in precious stones and it's made from white gold. It's got an interesting wave pattern on the dial, and the case has not been compromised with the in-house customization. So, for example, it's 100 meters water resistant, 50-hour power reserve, and the feature of the GMT secondhand is still all there. I don't know, guys. I mean, I get why it costs that much, but I can probably think of other watches I would buy for that kind of money. But anywho, the next one, this is great. My dad would have loved this because he loved this guy. Jack Nicklaus Rolex Day Date. It's sold in 2019 for $1.22 million. It's a yellow gold day date, and it was given to golfer Jack Nicklaus in 1967 by Rolex, and over the years it has been seen frequently on his wrist. Worn with love over 12 of his record 18 professional major championship titles. So, I mean, that for any kind of golf nut, I can understand why someone would add this watch to their collection. I think he sold it. Yeah, he did. So sorry, he sold it, as I said, for $1.22 million at Phillips auction in 2019, and the proceeds went to his charitable foundation that cares for children in need around the world. Thanks, Jack. Next one, which is a classic looking watch, which I gotta say I really liked looking at, was Eric Clapton's Rolex Oyster Albino Cosmograph Daytona. And in 2015, that sold for $1.4 million. Yep. So Eric Clapton, his Daytona, which has been dubbed the Oyster Albino Cosmograph, sold not once but twice for substantial amounts during public auctions. First time in 2003 for $505,000, which now, in hindsight, total bargain, because in 2015 it sold again for the 1.4. It's only four. Okay, so it's special because not only because Eric's obviously Eric Clapton, but because there's only 4 of these babies around. So, pretty cool. All right, here's a classic one for you, and the film buffs out there are gonna love it. So Marlon Brando's Apocalypse Now Rolex GMT Master in 2019 sold for a whopping $1.952 million. The reference is 1675, and it was worn by Brando in the movie Apocalypse Now. It's looking like it's had a hard life, I gotta say, guys. As Francis Ford Coppola had asked Brando to remove the bezel as it would stand out too much in the movie. And classically, Brando engraved his name on the back of it, and it sold after 15 minutes of hard bidding. I can see why, guys. Anti-magnetic reference 4113 from 1942. Sold in 2016 for $2.5 million. Wow. Unbelievable. It was a 44mm watch from 1942, which is one of the largest cases ever built by Rolex. And there's only 12 examples of this reference ever known to be in existence. Wow. And it was originally produced as a gift to celebrate the victory of a racing team. Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, and in 2013 it sold for $1.16 million at Christie's. So that gives you a pretty good indication of the steep increase in Rolex over, well, not even a decade. Okay, this one is definitely not my cup of tea, and it's the Rolex Bow Day, and it sold for $5.1 million in 2017. Wow. Now, it's because it was the watch that was initially sold to the last emperor of the Nguyen dynasty in Vietnam in 1954. So at the time, it was the most expensive Rolex in the collection. Wow. And only 3 of them were ever produced. It's pretty cool. It's got diamond markers for the hours, which I'm looking at it now, and it does look very cool, but it's too blingy for me. It's not the watch for me, but it's sold for $5.1 million at Phillips in 2017. And it's already been sold in the past. The Dynasty family itself sold it for $235,000 in 2002, which is a bit of a shame that they couldn't cash in, but yeah, it's pretty nuts. So in 1979, Rolex made the Daytona reference 626 Unicorn, and it sold in 2018 for $5.9 million. Uniqueness and rarity explain the price of this 1970s watch. It's the only model available in 18 karat white gold, hence it's the Unicorn, one of a kind. Yeah, because most of them were produced in stainless steel at the time. Let's get to the most expensive watch, shall we? Paul Newman's Rolex Daytona, and it's sold in 2017 for $17.8 million. Oh my God. I mean, far out. Okay, so it's not only the most expensive Rolex ever, it's also the most expensive watch ever sold in the world. That's nuts. It easily beats a previous record held by a 1943 Patek Philippe perpetual calendar chronograph that sold for $11 million in 2016. The opening bid started at $1 million, but was immediately raised to $10 million by the first bidder, stunning the entire auction room. 2 bidders then fought it out to finally settle on the $17.8 million price. It's pretty well preserved, it's not particularly rare, and it's not made from precious metal. But because of the unique story about Paul Newman, and because his wife Joanne Woodward gave it to him in the movie Winning, or whilst he was in the movie Winning, it's got a rich history behind it that people just want to get their mitts on and be a part of, and I get that, but not for $17 million. Far out, man. I mean, I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and it's had some hard yakka, which, of course, I mean, it's old, but far out. It is, I mean, that just blows my mind, guys. Some of these watches, it is like a whole other level of rich buying a watch for $17 million. having said that, I totally get why someone who had that kind of money would spend that kind of money on a watch that's got a rich history, or it's unique or exceptionally difficult to get. I get it. I get the mentality of a collector, 100%. If I could, I would, is the bucket of that conversation for sure. But that's just a little sample of some of the most expensive Rolexes ever. It's a pretty cool list. There aren't many on there that I would actually spend, if I was a billionaire, my money on. But I guess if you're a billionaire, you probably just buy everything anyway, right? Just out of principle. But what to dream. Anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. Do me a favor and hit the like or thumbs up, whatever you want to call it. Tell your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, have a great week.